Welcome to A Quest for Metal. Today we are talking about those second albums that far surpass the original. That is right, those sophomore albums that completely destroyed the face of the original album. Now, this is a very hard topic to talk about. I know a lot of people might think it's a very easy one, but my criteria for this video is they have to they have to far surpass the debut album. It can't just be like, oh, the debute's pretty good, but the second album's fantastic. It has to be the debut album's kind of mid or shit, and then the second album blows out with the fucking water, nuclear style, because you could say, Cryptopsy's Non So Vile, that's my favourite album. I think that surpasses the original, but the original is goddamn amazing, so I'm not going to include that. You could say other bands like, I love Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All. I'm not as big into that, but come on, Kill 'Em All, fantastic album. So that's not going to make it onto this list. It has to completely just take the band in a whole new direction and completely just, basically, in my opinion, it has to destroy the debut. So that is my criteria for this video. I've got a couple of albums to talk about, so let's get stuck in with my very first one. And this is the first one that came into my mind. It is the very first one that came into my mind, and it might be a bit of a shock because it is a metalcore band. Ooh, or I guess now it's more of a just heavy metal band. Avenged Sevenfold. That's right, Questy's talking about some Avenged Sevenfold. The debut, Sounding the Seventh Trumpet, is just not good. It's noisy, it's abhorrent, it's just kind of abrasive, and it's not in a good way, not in like a grindcore way, in just this sounds like shit. The album's not great. It's probably the worst Avenged Sevenfold album. It doesn't have any memorable songs on the album. It's not good. But then the second album, Waking the Fallen, came out, and it just completely smokes it, and it just sent Avenged Sevenfold on a trajectory where they became headliners. The headlining Download and other festivals of that nature because of albums like Waking the Fallen, and Waking the Fallen might be my favourite Avenged Sevenfold album. That is correct. There's so many good songs on here. It is like peak metalcore, Chapter 4, amazing drumming. I think the vocals are screaming by Matt Shadows is actually fantastic on this album. Unholy Confessions, come the fuck on. Unholy Confessions, Second Heartbeat. There's so many good songs in this album. It kind of just elevated the genre, and it just made them a famous band. So this is the kind of criteria I'm looking for. The first album, not great. Second album, absolutely blew it out of the bloody water. And I think they're a good band, and I think this album is actually fantastic. So moving on from metalcore, because I know a lot of my fan base don't like that. And I don't like it that much either, but there is certain bands like Avenge where I do kind of enjoy from childhood, because I used to listen to them as a child. But let's move on to some classic heavy metal with Judas Priest, Sad Wings of Destiny. Judas Priest, Rock and Roller, is a very middling, just average, sometimes below average heavy metal album. It's not great. In the whole Judas Priest discography, this would be almost at the bottom. I don't think it's very at the bottom, but it's almost at the bottom because it's just a bit boring and a bit bland. Whereas Sad Wings of Destiny came out, just, again, elevated the band to stardom. Dreamer Deceiver, holy shit, Victim of Changes, oh my god, the guitar in that, fucking phenomenal. Rob Halford's pipes on this album, whereas the first album is so generic and just kind of dull and boring. This one just breathes new life into them. A bit more of a progressive edge than songs like Victim of Changes. Then you have like the fast hitting The Ripper. Come on. Absolute majestic album. It's an inspiration for many metal bands, and I love it. It's pretty high on my ranking. It's in the top 3. I adore this era, 70s era of Judas Priest. I think it's a bloody amazing album, amazing artwork, fantastic songs where the solos just kind of seep into your soul. It's always stuck with me, and I think I wouldn't say they get better from here. They started great here, and they kept on the greatness for a long time. And the new albums are fantastic too. Invincible Shield, ooh, I could jerk off over Judas Priest all day. We're going to move on to another heavy metal band I've got up here. Here we go. Saxon. Wheels of Steel. Ooh, shit, I'm just fucking slamming stuff. You know, you go, Wheels of Steel. I love Saxon. Underrated band. Everyone talks about Maiden. Everyone talks about Def Leppard. Judas Priest. Saxon is just as good as all of them. And Wheels of Steel is the proof. Fucking phenomenal album. Princess of the Night. Catchiest song. One of the catchiest songs ever. Wheels of Steel. Catchy as hell. Motorcycle Man. What a great way to kick off the album. I really enjoy this. It's not my favourite, I will say. Denim and Leather, I think, is a little bit better. I also think that Lionheart is pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. There's a lot of good albums by Saxon. Some of the new stuff's fantastic too, just like Judas Priest, keeping the heavy metal spirit alive. But the debut by Saxon, the self-titled, it's not great. It's okay. I think it's better than Rock and Roller, but it's still got that kind of boring, generic edge to the album where it doesn't stand out, didn't make them big, it's just kind of okay, it's just there. Whereas Wheels of Steel came out, they got the oomph, you know what I mean? They got the oomph into the music and it just pushed them into the stratosphere. Not quite like Maiden, but it made them popular. And they're probably on par near that time, even though Iron Maiden probably wasn't out back then. When was this album out? 1980? I guess the debut by Maiden was 1980, wasn't it? So, yeah. They're coming around the same kind of time. But Saxon doesn't get the love it deserves. And I'm going to give it some love on this list. Wheels of Steel. Fucking phenomenal. What else have we got? Well, there's a lot of classic albums on this list. What can I say? Next up, Motorhead. Overkill. Again. The debut by Motorhead is kind of okay. I'd say it's the better of the three I was talking about, but it's still kind of just there. Like, whenever I'm listening to Motorhead, whenever anyone's listening to Motorhead, who's grabbing the debut? Fucking no one. It's Bomber, Overkill, Ace of Spades, Another Perfect Day. It's those kind of albums. Some of the others, 1914, there's a lot of good Motorhead albums. The debut is just kind of, it's average. It's alright, It's not terrible. This may be the one where it's kind of, it's okay. It's alright. But Overkill is so good. It's my favourite Motorhead album, first of all. Overkill is my favourite, and it's the second album they did. And it smokes the shit out of it. It is so goddamn good. The drumming is insane. The vocal delivery by Lemmy is insane. Overkill, Stay Clean. Capricorn, No Class. All these are just goddamn good. No Class is fantastic too. Every song is just high speed, in your face, glorious rock and roll, as Lemmy is, the god of it. And it just completely smokes the original. In every single way. Every song is better than every song on the original. Now, you may like the original more, and you're entitled to your opinion, but your opinion's fucking wrong, because Overkill's the best Motorhead album, and it's just a fact. So stick it up your ass. Now we're going to move on to some progressive metal with a band called Dream Theater. James LaBrie joined the band, and then Images and Words was born. Again, my favourite Dream Theater album, the second one. I think it's an absolute masterpiece. I think it's a 10 out of 10 album. Every song is perfect. Every song is perfect. Take the time. Beautiful. Beautiful. Under a Glass Moon. Under a Glass Moon. Beautiful. Fucking Metropolis Part 1. Beautiful. Fucking The Ballad, I forgot the name of it. Fucking saxophone. Beautiful. Pull Me Under, it's their only fucking hit they ever had. Is on this album. Going from the debut, where it had, I think it was Charlie Dominici? Is that the name of him? I didn't like the vocals on the debut. The songs are okay. I do feel like the songwriting's okay, but the vocals kind of let it down, which is ironic, because a lot of people say the same about James on the later albums. But the songs on Images and Words completely smoke every single song on the debut. The production's better. The imagination is better. The artwork's better. The singing is better. Everything is better. It's literally an absolute upgrade. And anyone who prefers the debut of Images and Words needs a fucking brain exam. They need to get drilled through the skull and the brain needs to be examined, because Images and Words is just that fantastical. It's one of the best albums ever made, and it's one of my favourites, and it's definitely going to make it onto this list. Now, those are the main ones I had on this list. I had some honourable mentions I'm going to mention too. Destroy Erase Improve by Meshuggah. Really love that album. I feel like it definitely improves on the original. But the original is still pretty good. So I didn't include it. But I'm going to throw it as honourable mention because I do feel like Destroy and Erase Improve is an improvement. What else have I got down here? The Son of Tifereth by Abzu is the only black metal band I could think of, but the second is absolutely better than the first. But the first is still pretty good. Vitriol is still pretty good, but I feel like Sun blows it out of the water. What else we got? Jester Race by In Flames. Lunar Strain is cool. I enjoy it, but Jester Race is one of the best melodic death metal albums of all time. And last but not least, Consuming Impulse by Pestilence. It's one of the best death metal albums of all time, but I still feel like the first one, even though it's a bit more thrashy than death metal, is still pretty good. So honourable mentions out of the way, those are the albums I feel like absolutely smoke the originals. Do you agree with my list? Do you agree with some of my honourable mentions? I'm more of a black metal channel, and there's no black metal on here aside from the Abzu honourable mention. Do you know why that is? Because the debut's usually the fucking best for black metal. You know, Mayhem's debut is the best. You know, Burzum, for me, the debut is my favourite. So, of course, this is my favourite, so it's the best. Fucking Gorgoroth, the debu's fantastic, even though for Antichrist, debut's still bloody fantastic. Like every single one. Every single one. The only one I could almost throw on here is probably Summoning, because Summoning's Minas Morgul is a completely different direction to Lurgburs, but I've grown to love Lurgburs so much that I can't even throw that on here. So if someone could help me in the comments, try and think of some black metal bands where the second one completely blows the first one out of the water. Because even like Enslaved, Frost is a classic, but Viking Laveldi, I think I prefer it even more. It's a difficult one. It is a difficult one. Help me down below. Also, put your own bands where the second album is better than the first. Let me know down below, and we'll see you again on another Quest for Metal.